Hey everyone, Sonia Dudley here. Great to be on here for just a few minutes today. I really hesitated whether to come on here. I always think, you know, whenever sometimes a diamond comes on here and people think, oh, well, no wonder they have that perspective. You know, they're a diamond. But I want you to know that, you know, this is my perspective is from a long history of network marketing and being in a company that I was with for 17 years. And hey, Sabrina, I was with one company for 17 years, and I just want to kind of give you some hope today, some perspective, some encouragement, because I love all of you. And so anyway, let me just get started. When I joined another network marketing company at 19 years old, I quit college at 21. I was a senior to go full-time with that company. That company had been in business for 25 years. And I remember, you know, how smooth everything was, you know, like no flaws, no errors, nothing, just smooth sailing. Hey, Sue. And, you know, that was all great, but, you know, sorry, my internet's a little shaky today. That company at 33 years in hit their $1 billion year. But so 33 years in, they hit their first $1 billion year. But they I don't know why my internet is going in and out. It never goes in and out more than once. It's already went out twice. I'm telling you that to say that perspective of where we are as a company. You know, we've only been in business 8-9 years. We aren't at $1 billion, but I see us hitting $1 billion in 2 or 3 years, and we're not even officially opened in Canada yet. Is huge for perspective for you. I also want to tell you, you know, in 2007. I had been really sick since 05. I quit that company I was with in 05. Hey, Nicole. And so for 2 years, a little over 2 years, I was just trying to get better, trying to get healthy. And I decided to open two traditional businesses, brick and mortar. So I went to the bank, broke as I could be. My mom signed over her trust, her home, to me as collateral, and I borrowed 6 figures to open 2 businesses, brick and mortar. Hey, ladies. And right after I opened up these 2 makeup stores, Merle Norman stores, I wasn't even able to borrow enough capital to run the business. I should have never opened the businesses, is my point. But I did. And then the crash, y'all know the crash of what was the end of 07 or beginning of 08, that all happened. I had no capital. I had no experts, no executives telling me it was going to be okay because it was an independent business. I didn't even have the money to market myself. It was very, very difficult. But I will tell you that that was out of my control. You know, the economy was out of my control. And even though I was very frustrated, I cried myself to sleep most nights. I got sick again. It was a very stressful time in my life. I actually had to go get a full-time job and hire someone to work each of those businesses because I didn't even have enough money to pay my bills. My husband makes a great living, but I had, because of the previous business of 17 years, I'd gotten us in a lot of debt. So I had a responsibility of a couple $1,000s a month in bills. So I went to work at Verizon Wireless. Michelle Thomas hired me. That's how we met. She was the manager there and should not have hired me because you needed a college degree, but she said, I'll hire you, because I said, I'm good with people. Please give me a chance. And I was desperate. So she did. So I'm always grateful to her for that. But it was very much out of my control, the economy. And I can tell you that, you know, the lesson that I learned through that was that I can only stress over things and allow something to cause me, you know, trouble in my heart if it's something I can fix. And it was a good lesson. I could not control the economy. So I just want to give you that perspective, because I think with what we're going through right now and what we've been through over the last, 2 or 3 years with our back office changes, our system changes, I can tell you that I have had full trust and full hope that we are going to be okay, like complete peace in my gut, like not a worry at all that we're not going to be okay. And when things are out of my control, I've learned to just breathe deep and say, what can I do that is productive? You know, I'll tell you, I remember when I joined Plexus, and I remember saying to Helen, you know, if I could just make $400 or $500 a month to take that burden off my family. And then as we could kind of, me and Helen could kind of see what was happening, I remember saying, okay, Sheila, I remember calling Sheila and going, okay, Sheila, you know, if I could just make, if I could replace my income, I could quit my job. I need to make $2,500 a month to quit my job and do this full time. And, you know, I think we get very, we get Plexus people, our compensation plan is unlike anything else out there at all. And in the business of 17 years that I was in, I would make $2,500, you know, every few months. And then I was making $1,000, and then 1 month I'd make $4,000, but then I wouldn't make that again for 9 months. And it was so unpredictable. It was so unstable. It was, you could not budget, okay? And I never had anyone on my team that broke off and become a director, that become a leader, that become a jewel. Not one person did that. I had not one person to earn a car on my team. I never had one person earning $500 a month or more on my team in 17 years. I never earned a trip. I worked 1,000 times harder than I've ever worked in Plexus. And my point is, I get really emotional here, is that we get really spoiled to making stupid money. And even as an emerald, that is stupid money. That, okay, let me say something. I remember saying to my husband, if I could make $5,000 a month in Plexus forever, like what a comfortable life we would have. And he was like, yes. Guys, we get accustomed to what we make. You make more, you do more, you spend more. I'm here to tell you, you know, that. And I've seen my income go from, you know, from here, and it dropped $10,000, $15,000 and plateau off for 2 years. And then I've seen it go up a couple thousand and then back down. And we are going to go through plateaus and momentum surges and then plateaus and then, oh my gosh, a major change. And then 3 companies come through and take 5 of my jewels, and another, you know, lose 5,000, 10,000 a month. I think God allows things like that also to teach us how to, you know, how to stay humble, how to use our money, how to not do what I've done, which is, you know, the more I made, the more I've spent. And I'm preaching to the choir, and it's emotional, because I want you to understand that, you know, we have to have perspective. And I also want to say this. You know, I was in that company 17 years, then I joined 2 or 3 more. I've been in network marketing 29 years. And God's timing, you know, we're only on this earth in God's eyes like a little bitty short vapor, right? Like a short vapor compared to eternity. And so when I said, at 19 years old, I want to hit the top of the company. I want to be a millionaire. I want to earn so much money, whatever. And that did not happen in that business. It did happen. 24, 5 years later, it happened. We want instant gratification. And I hate issues. I hate back office issues. I hated InfoTrax. I hate what's going on. But here's what I can tell you. With every honest and loving fiber in my body, because I love you guys, I can tell you I have zero worries at all in what's going on. I'm not worried at all. I don't like it. I deal with one issue at a time. I got on just a few minutes ago, placed my own order. Thank you, Jesus. It went smooth. I can just tell you, I just deal with one issue at a time. And I thank God for those issues. I thank God for everything I went through to get to where I am. I thank Him today for all we're going through because I can see where we're going to be in 10 years. I see where we're going. We are a legacy company. I got to meet with a guy who is helping us develop all these other countries. And he said to me, I contract out. Like, I don't really have to work, but I love the culture I see in Plexus. He said, I love the products. I've never seen anything like it. I've never seen people like I've seen in this company. And he said, I've only seen a handful, on one hand, companies in 40-something years I've been doing this, do what Plexus has done and what they're doing. I've only seen it a handful of times. So that gave me such even more peace, more perspective, more hope, more belief, more solid ground. I know we have to be grateful for the trials we're going through. What I was getting at is when I said all that back in those days when I was with Mary Kay, and I said, I want to be a millionaire, and I want to, help other people become directors and win cars. And none of that happened in that company. It's happened, it's happened. I've definitely earned more than that in 5 years in Plexus. It's happened. But it wasn't in my timing. But it was in God's timing because He's like, Sonia, what's 25 years? Like that's like a half a vapor. Like it happened. The personal growth and the emotional maturity that you will gain from making your mind up to have a mature perspective. You can throw a fit like I do some days and kick and scream and go, why am I doing this? But the emotional maturity that you want to strive for is where you completely aren't shaken at all, no matter how bad it gets. Okay, you're going to see people leave. You're going to have people on your team, jewels that you would have sworn on a Bible that would never leave, that are going to leave you. I've had it happen. I just really want to give you, I want to give you my hope and my solid belief so bad. I was just going to see if there's anything anybody's asking. Yeah. It's hard, guys. It's hard, right? There's days it is difficult and you think, I know, hey, I'm going to be honest. I go, what in the world? Like, why can't we get this thing fixed once and for all? We will. We will. and we just do the best we can, and enjoy and be thankful for, you know, where we are, and learn how to manage our money, and learn how to, you know, learn how to say, hey, if my income fluctuates up and down for the next 5 years, I'm going to be okay. You know, I'm going to be okay. I had so much debt and inventory. I'll tell you that this house we're in right now, I resented this house payment for so long, up until Plexus. I resented this house and this house payment because I had to go to the bank probably 4 times and consolidate debt from that other business. I had a closet as long as this 12-foot wall, and even on the other side, full of inventory. I had it stacked on the floor. And we refinanced this house about 4 times, and we put in that debt in this house. And so when Plexus came along, I'm like, you know, no way am I doing a stupid network marketing. I think it's stupid. No one really makes money in that company. And I'll tell you, the top people in the company I was with, there's maybe 30 of them who make 30,000 or more, maybe about 30, maybe 40 that make 30,000 or more. Even today, you still got the magazine up till 2 or 3 years ago, and the rest of them working their hind ends off, running around. It is a struggle for them to keep their business going. And, you know, they're probably making, the top people, you know, probably making senior Ruby to a new Emerald pay, and they've been in 15, 20, 25 years. And they're just like I was. They don't have a handful of people making money on their team. Any money. $200 and $300 a month. No, they don't. We have to keep things in perspective. We have to keep things in perspective. I'm here for the long haul. You know, I can tell you right now, I don't work as hard as a lot of you. I don't, because I don't want to. I go get, you know, some level 1s. I work with a handful of my upper levels that work. I pour into my team. I do book studies. I do Zooms. But I've done this business for 29 years. I don't want to work like I did 15 years ago, 10 years ago. I don't want to do that. But I can tell you that had I worked the 17 years that I worked in the one company, had I worked that in Plexus that hard in my 20s and 30s, wow. We have it made in Plexus. What we have to do, the work we do and what we do, if I were you guys and in your 20s, 30s, even in your 40s, and you've never been in network marketing and you're working this like brand new, I mean, savor this, because no one has what we have. It is, you know, I tell people everywhere I go about Plexus. I will always do that. Do that, because it's the best of the best. Wow, we got it great, you guys. Yeah, compare it to what you used to do, Brandy. You know, man. I worked for 7 years in retail. I worked with Michelle Thomas at Verizon for a year. It was so stressful, Worked retail hours, drove 45 minutes to work, back and forth. I just look at what we have, and it's such a blessing to give other people. Flaws and all right now. Flaws and all. No company's perfect. Our growth is crazy. It's still crazy. We have one of the largest, if not the largest network of ambassadors in the United States, that's solid and growing as fast as we are, even in spite of all the issues we've gone through. In spite of. Can you see where I can see 5 years out, 2 years out, 10 years out, wow. Those of us who stick it out, just wow. Wow, wow, wow. Yeah. So that's all. I didn't really have anything lined up to, specific to tell you guys. I just felt the need to tell you that. I will tell you this. I'll tell you this. This might make you cry. It still kind of tears me up. I was probably a sapphire in plexus before I took my wedding ring out of my wallet that I was going to pawn. About 3 months before plexus, I took my wedding ring to a pawn shop to see how much I could get for it. Helen will remember. I'm sure Michelle will too. And they're like, $400 or $500. And I kept that wedding ring in my, this was a couple months, maybe 2 months before plexus. And, God would provide and I wouldn't have to sell it. And then plexus came along. And I kept that wedding ring in my wallet. I didn't wear it. We had bought another ring and financed it on a trip we went on. I won a trip with Clayton Homes, and we bought this ring, and we financed it, and I wore it as my wedding ring, and I put my other one in my wallet. When times got tough, I was going to sell it. Anyway, long story short, I never had to sell that, but times were tough. And so, yeah. I can also tell you that when I got in plexus, I did not say, okay, Lord, if things go well and smooth, I'm going to stay. I just knew that I knew I was supposed to be in this business. I knew I was called to do great things. I always wanted to make a big difference. And I just remember feeling that. And so when God calls you to something, He doesn't say there's not going to be trials. And we have to know that whatever we go through, He's allowing us to go through it to grow. So, all right. I love you guys. I've talked way too long. Oh my gosh, 22 minutes. Have you ever? Y'all have a great Thanksgiving weekend. I love you all so much. And God bless you.